I have made some that are pretty highly produced. I need to make sure that I can actually see myself in this. I'm sure it's fine. Anyways, I'm about to go for a swim, but I have said that I'm going to make these videos, and I'm trying to stick to the things I say that I'm going to do. Some people said that they were helpful, so essentially what we have going on today is a video about the new moon. Now, the new moon that's coming up is going to take place on the 27th of August, it looks like. And what a new moon means is that the sun and the moon are together. So it looks like this sun and new moon conjunction is taking place in the constellation Virgo. Now to begin, we want to find out the condition of the sun and the moon in Virgo. I think that both the sun and the moon do fine in Virgo. I think it's a neutral thing to begin, but in order to sort of really get this story going about the condition of the masculine exerting energy that powers life, and the reflective, day-to-day, ritualistic, more elusive feminine moon energies, what they're doing in Virgo, we need to go and look and see where the ruler of this constellation is. And this constellation, its ruler, which is Mercury, has just moved into Libra. So the thing about this journey that we're going on based off of this chart is we need to think about how the planets are said to be supported depending on where they are. So it's like the king and the queen of the heavens are in the constellation Virgo, ruled over by the messenger god. So it's a time for analyzing. It's definitely a time for focusing on sending messages and using sort of like the intellectual capacities that are distinctly human. That's not to say that other creatures don't exhibit these higher thinking capacities and strategizing. It's just to say that we do it in a very pronounced way, and the point of astrology is humans, because this practice is about us. So this Mercury messenger god that's in charge of Virgo is in Libra. What does that mean? Well, in Libra, it's an inanimate object of all the constellations, so it's kind of a more matter of fact. What is the current society's definition of fairness and balance, and symmetry? So this messenger god in Libra is focusing on those kind of significations. So balance, harmony, fairness, beauty, wanting things to be, harmonious in nature. Why? Because Venus rules Libra, so let's look at the condition of Venus. Now Venus is in Leo, so that sort of self-focused, this is my territory, I am the lion, when I'm napping, I'm napping, when I'm hunting, I'm when I'm hunting, I'm hunting, when I'm humping, I'm humping. I suppose that's also true, but this Venusian Leo energy is in charge of Libra, and that Mercurial Libra is in charge of Virgo, where the sun rests. So there's certainly a lot of energy kind of coming in to play here. There's not a specific archetype that I think is just like, oh man, I am exactly where I want to be. But none of them are also in a place that they don't want to be. It's just sort of like, yeah, I can make some stuff happen here. So what is it that you need to make happen? Well, everyone's chart's different. So the specific story that the stars will tell each of you is unique. My live feed. I think it's still going. So yeah, this Virgoian constellation is about serving others. It's about creating an analytical approach to improve upon things, to have all the little details that you need to execute on something. So it's certainly associated with the thinking mind, harmony, focus, balance, focus, but it's sort of coming back to this Leo energy of like your right to have this experience based on what is capable and under the light of this sun. So then of course that's ruled by the sun, conjunct the moon. That's why it's a new moon. You won't be able to see the moon in Virgo. So this is where that focal point is of the two big luminaries, ruled over by this, ruled over by this, coming back to this. So there's this looping in of the Virgo energy, Libra energy, and the Leo energy. It's a time for analyzing, harmonizing, and also realizing that you're a part of that experience. It's certainly wanting to serve and connect with others, taking into account other people's and society's definitions of what's fair and what's not, and also remembering that you are part of it. You are also part of this. We're all part of this. It's not just in our heads. It's not just an idea. There's the... Well, I've heard people say that it is. That it is just sort of something that's in our heads. But rocks and feathers, computers, food, it's all rather convincing in its material realm. Who and what ideas are you serving? Are they in balance with other people in your significant partnerships and relationships? Are they acclimated to society's values? Is it something that is truly you living out a life based off of your current body and your current situation? So stepping up to the plate, making the most of what is. Yeah, so the main thick lines are these squares. So this new moon is squaring Mars and Gemini. I actually have Mars and Gemini natally. It's a little further along, but this Mars and Gemini energy is restless. It is going in many different directions. I think of all the mutable signs, mutable Earth, Virgo is mutable, but it's very earthy, so it's not as all over the place. Mutable water is certainly mutable in that it kind of takes the shape of the container that it's put in, and air in some ways to me feels even more mutable, because it's just like it so quickly just expands to fill whatever space it's in. It just wow. It's remarkable. It's remarkably expansive and big. So when you've got extra heat going towards it, it just really can disperse. And it's air, so it's associated with ideas and thinking and sharing, and it's also ruled over by this Mercury in Libra, and it's even being trined. So there's a lot of mental energy going towards harmonizing and balancing with social justice and fairness, ideas going towards this like communicative, explorer, interactive, chatty, teacher kind of a thing. Like, I want to share my ideas, I want to get my point across, because Gemini's a little bit more focused on that like relaying of something, of that sharing, selling of some sort of thing. So that's another little trine. This is a sextile, so it's not as strong of an energy, so the mental energy is really flooding that kind of inertia to speak and share ideas and do things with your hands and just execute. But this sextile is Jupiter, not as strong perhaps, but certainly a pushing out of that energy. Like, I'm a person who can come up with ideas and share them very quickly, and I have some stuff going on with Aries and Gemini kind of prominently in my chart. So in the same way that my brain and my capacity to exert and to put forth my energy to attack, if you will, there's a little bit of that being pushed, but I want to believe that it's a good thing. I want to believe that it's a learning opportunity. I want to believe that it's a chance to expansively quest towards the learning or sharing of something, accomplishing something. That square, that Mars is squaring the sun, so it's like there's just a little bit of a tension. There's a little bit of a battle going on. It is another big thick square is happening between this Uranus energy, this revolutionary, which is of course squaring Saturn, so there's a little bit of an opposition here. This tension is something that's sort of been recurring, this particular square between Saturn and Uranus. It's been something that's been like a theme of most astrologers' sort of conversations over the past couple years. It's a tough one, and Venus is coming along here and just kind of activating that shape again. It's this tension, it's this built-in sort of destabilizing of patterns, the limiting and the ending of ideas and thought structures that are really not sustaining us. This Saturn in Aquarius really wants to uphold limitations, and that means when it comes to that loving your own inner animal, loving your own sort of desire to be the most radiant that you can possibly be, is sort of being restricted, and also like shocked, maybe, like sporadically shocked, like be a radical, change these patterns, you can do it. Like T-squares are not the easiest patterns to deal with. Now there's also this kind of it's not quite a kite, but it's an interesting, it's becoming one, the shape seems to be, but what do I want to say about this? What do I want to say about this Mercury that certainly seems to be at a significant point? Maybe not as like strong of a current, but there is a focal point going to this messenger, this thinker, this one that wants to share the ideas that are fair and harmonious and in alignment and balanced, being completely opposed, almost. I mean, it's not an exact opposition, but it's a pretty dramatic opposition between this expansive pusher god and this tiny messenger god. So I think that there's this individualism that's really large, that's sort of making it difficult to really connect with another person, perhaps. So that's that kind of challenge, but that messenger is being kind of trined by this transformative power, this powerful excavating, unearthing agent, like really trying to shake the foundations of our most practical endeavors. Like that messenger god wants to do that. Be careful with escapist tendencies, but at the same time, like allow that imagination to do its thing. Maybe there's some really cool ideas and really valuable insights that can come from it. I struggle with that. Believing in my creations. But that same aggressive force that's sort of challenging the two luminaries, or these like the most basic dual impulse, the most close to home energy, the most bright and the most close to home, being the sun and the moon. Like there's that challenge of that restlessness, but at the same time, that restlessness could produce really cool ideas and really cool opportunities to connect and share ideas with people that you're wanting to balance with, share and harmonize with and adjust. So that's kind of a cool energy, and it's being pushed by that expansive energy as we discussed. But yeah, there's some interesting patterns. Blue is typically more flow, red is more resistance, so it's kind of an even balance. I think resistance is probably like the bigger theme, so it's finding ways to compromise and share and make balances between yourself and others. And I think the most significant way is to just sort of remember that you're breathing every moment, whether or not you're thinking about it. It's something that's happened. There's an inertia to the universe, and you're a part of it, and that's a uniting thing if we all can kind of, remember that. Unaspected things, Lilith in Cancer is unaspected, meaning there's no shapes going towards it, so it's kind of a sort of a separate thing. But wrath around feeling nurtured and safe and protected. So we all, I think, have that need to feel safe and to be protected. Like if our stomachs didn't have muscles in front of them and skin, like we need that containment and that shell. The South Node in Scorpio is also not being aspected by anything that I can see. It's possible though that, I don't know, maybe this particular app doesn't aspect those points, so that may always be the case. But anyways, this sort of line here, this is the North Node, the Dragon's Head, and this is the Dragon's Tail, and it moves pretty slow, so it's going to be in this range, but it is pretty dead center during this. It's like in the heart of Taurus and the heart of Scorpio. So that polarity between like stable feminine energy in the universe. So like, I will give myself a pleasant bodily experience. Like, I will do that. I will not tolerate my body being harmed. Or I will not tolerate, since Uranus is there, I will not tolerate patterns that are destructive. The day-to-day patterns that are destructive, like about our society, I will resist them. I will speak about them. The South Node is the comfort zone, or the familiar. So this calculating, aggressive Scorpio energy that's all behind the scenes and secretive and calculating. It's actually a time to leave that sort of, that pattern, that capacity to just be behind the scenes and isolated and calculated, kind of like a sniper. Leave that and go towards being that vocal revolutionary about your day-to-day routine. Like, speak out about injustices, but also don't be complicit in them. Chiron is another unaspected thing here. It's in Aries. It's been in Aries for some time. This Chiron energy is going back towards where Mercury, which is the ruler of my chart, was, which is 13 degrees. I'm ready for Chiron to move forward, honestly. Like, I want it to kind of move forward, but Chiron has just been making its way through my chart pretty significantly, because I have the sun at the end of Pisces, so Chiron was hanging out there, and then it moved into Mercury, which is the ruler of my 1st and 10th house, so it's pretty significant. It's almost exactly there. And now Chiron is then going to move towards my moon and Venus conjunction, so the wounded healer is just making its way pretty significantly through some of the bigger symbols of my chart, and I feel it. I feel that wounded healer energy. I think I'm remarkably equipped at helping other people deal with their mind. I think it's true, because I have to deal with my own, Once you learn how to heal something or deal with something, like it's helpful. I'm ready and capable of challenging people who want to sort of be let in to the kind of fallacy of the mind. Now, the challenge for me, and I'm just sharing this, I don't know if it resonates with you, it's to kind of process this grief and this pain and sadness and sort of this despair energy that's making it feel like I don't have the capacity or desire to really do much of anything, like applying for work, going to the grocery store, making food, cleaning my room, trying to put myself out there. Like it just kind of feels like a drudgery, I've noticed. But if I'm being really honest, as true as that feels in some of those moments, whenever I'm connecting with others and whenever I'm doing things with other people, I typically much more at peace and much more satisfied. There's a lot of energy wanting to go towards other people and their problems and their resources, and I feel valuable and I feel connected, which is why I offer these services. And I try to just be really present with this crazy dimension and this crazy world, and to not say things that I don't know the answers to. And it's hard. It's a hard universe sometimes, but yeah, this is the part of my chart that's sort of associated with other people's resources and possessions and death and taxes and those kind of significations. So yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. That is part of my experience. It's other people focused. It's other people's business, and sometimes I wonder what would it be like if I could really write a story and believe in it and stick to it, or I could exercise as well as eat well. I wonder if that could improve my experience. So I'm taking baby steps, but it just feels like it's not enough. Right now I'm trying to take the last few seconds or minutes, I don't know how much more of this I'm going to take, to just tune into my body and to try and move into a posture that's a little more intentional. I feel sort of a pressure here, kind of in this region. Yeah. I'm just gonna maybe take a moment to meditate. Take a moment to breathe. This sun and moon energy in Virgo. A new beginning in this sometimes compulsively wanting to serve, order, create order, and systematize the different things to help improve this material existence. So it's a really cool capacity of the human to create tools and to create systems to nurture and support, to harvest what needs to be harvested. Yeah. This is a tough existence. This is a tough existence, it seems. But I invite easier, more skillful, better routines into my life. I ask for them. I ask for that for other people. Because we're here and I have anger, and I'm frustrated, and I'm tired. But may new systems and new patterns manifest. Love letting the snakes bite, y'all. Happy new moon. Happy new moon. Love let's end this stream.